Assalamualaikum and good day. In the previous video, part 1, Introduction to Regression, we have learned on the fundamental aspect and concept of regression first. And second, we also learn how to run the regression analysis using Excel. And next, how to interpret the result. So in this video, the part 2 of my presentation, I will guide you step by step how to do the hypothesis testing and lastly do the interpretation. So let's see how the hypothesis testing will be conducted using Microsoft Excel. Yes, we are using the example as presented in part 1, which is a study on the relationship between quality inspection and customer satisfaction. Okay, so these are the data. So let's see the step to run the hypothesis. So the first one is that we have to state the hypothesis. Null hypothesis, beta equal to 0. Beta is basically referring to the slope. If beta is 0, meaning that there will be no relationship. Okay, so the alternative hypothesis is beta is not equal to 0, meaning that we believe that the relationship is there. Okay, so this is how we state the hypothesis. The null hypothesis, beta is 0. Alternative hypothesis, beta is not 0. Then second step, we have to decide the alpha value. So let's say normally we put 0.05. Once we know this alpha value, then we start key in the data. This is the macro Excel. Okay, we key in the data and then we choose the regression function. Okay, so as I mentioned in part 1. Next, once we run the analysis, this is the output. Okay, so let's see how to read this output for the hypothesis testing. Remember here, the major thing is that we want to test the slope beta 1. Okay, so when we read the analysis output, what we are looking for, the first one is we have to find the coefficient for quality inspection, which is referring to beta 1. Okay, so this coefficient will show the influence of quality inspection towards the customer satisfaction. Okay, so to get the beta value, this is we have to look this into this column. This row, quality inspection. So this is the coefficient 1.91 something. This is the beta value. Okay, so now we want to see whether this beta value is significant or not. Okay, so we have to compare the p value for qi. Okay, p value, we have to compare the p value for quality inspection. We compare with the alpha value. Okay, so the p value, so this is the p value for quality inspection 0.001721. We compare with alpha. So we have to know the decision rule. This is the decision rule. If p value less than alpha, we are going to reject the null hypothesis. If p value is greater than or equal to alpha, we are going to do not reject the null hypothesis. So now 0.0017 basically is very small compared to the alpha. So the decision is we reject the null hypothesis, meaning that we believe there is a significant relationship between quality inspection and customer satisfaction. Next, we are going to make a conclusion. So the conclusion is that there is sufficient evidence that quality inspection affect customer satisfaction where, so we want to stress the how strong the relationship. So we are going to stress this by mentioning that 72.69% of the variance in customer satisfaction is explained by variation in quality inspection. How, where we get this value? Basically, we are getting this value from the R square. Okay, R square gives us the idea how much the independent variable affect the dependent variable. Okay, another option, okay, beside testing the slope b1, we also can, this is the second option to test the hypothesis, we can also, okay, testing the f test. Basically, if we using f test, we will look this table, the ANOVA table. Okay, you have to read the output referring to the ANOVA table. Okay, again the decision rule, we are comparing p value and alpha. Okay, so here this is the p value. Okay, the decision rule is still remain the same. My p value less than alpha reject, p value greater than alpha we do not reject. Okay, so let's check the p value. So this is the p value of in ANOVA table, very small, 0.0017, which is very small compared to the alpha. Alpha is 0.05, remember? So the decision is that same, we reject the null hypothesis. And the conclusion remains that we believe there is sufficient evidence that QI will affect the customer satisfaction, where 72.69% of the variation in customer satisfaction is being explained by variation in quality inspection. Okay, so that's all, very simple, very straightforward. Hopefully that will make you easy to understand. Thank you very much. See you in video part 3.